Maybe you are one of the dark entities on Twitter that lives for this shit. Maybe that is you. People have a right to have an opinion. Wow, you let that get to you? I guess you're not as confident as you claim. Whatever kind of critique it is of that nature is not constructive criticism. Hey girl, hey bookie boo, let's talk. You may not know me, I may not know you, but I think we can come together to have a very meaningful conversation that should be had. But hi, welcome to my channel. I want to give you a nice little cold intro, but I really want to get into it. I really want to talk about online opinions and constructive criticism versus baseless trolling and just outright hate, because there is in fact a difference between all of those, in spite of there being a concerning number of individuals perusing the internet that seem to think otherwise. Before I just go into spewing my thoughts and opinions at you and telling you what I think and feel, let me start with some backstory as to what even inspired this video and this conversation for me personally. This video is actually inspired by two things. This video by Simone Nicole and this particular post on Instagram by a hairstylist that I follow that is absolutely cold and super talented and creative. I want to start with how Simone Nicole's story really impacted me and really got my gears turning about this conversation, and actually triggered some thoughts and feelings of my own because I too had some similar experiences. Simone Nicole spoke about how she, kind of started off more so as a natural hair influencer girly, and as some of her natural hair content really began to pick up traction and go viral, she began to get hate comments from other Black women saying, you don't have a horse in this race. You can't speak on loving your hair because your hair isn't kinky enough. Statements like that. Long story short, her sharing her story of how someone leaving a comment that was, of course, rooted in their own personal biases and honestly quite hurtful and invalidating genuinely impacted her. And I just loved seeing someone online express and still validate that online comments that are hurtful are still impactful. They're still powerful. So many people seem to not really think that. They think because it's online, it's not real and it doesn't carry any weight, but it does. To the next story that inspired this conversation, the official razor chick, this particular creator, they came up on my timeline because I follow them and I love their work. It's phenomenal. It's cool. I love following unique and extremely skilled beauticians that just express their style of work. I just love to see different beauticians work and their skill set. No matter how saturated this industry may appear to be, you always have something special and unique to bring to the table, and whoever it's for, that's who it's for. You can't serve everyone, but you can serve someone. So she came up on my timeline and I see this caption of this particular post where she's saying, from this post on, she's cutting off the comments because I guess lately she had been receiving some very nasty and maybe a little overly opinionated comments from some online passerbyers. And as I scrolled down, I literally saw a comment of somebody just like kind of reiterating what she was talking about, and that led me to go looking for trouble. That actually led me to go open up her comment section and see, I guess, what was going on. And what I saw predominantly was a nice handful of people supporting her decision to, choose her peace and her mental health and say, you know what, right now, or indefinitely, I'm cutting off the comments on my post because what I've been getting has really been nasty and hurtful. And even though I'm a confident person, a confident stylist, it's just been a little too much for me. And honestly, off of first reading her perspective, I was like, that's more than fair. Nothing in my mind was just thinking anything other than respectfully, I respect that, quite frankly. And as I scrolled through the comments, I really saw, I'm sorry y'all, this Picking this eczema skin is addicting. Please, please. As I scrolled through the comment section, there were just so many people saying things like, people have a right to have an opinion. You let them win by shutting off your comments. Wow, you let that get to you? I guess you're not as confident as you claim. And just other condescending, snarky, baiting, and very much self-fulfilling comments that like fed into what she highlighted. And I've genuinely felt disgusted. Now, I don't know this woman from a can of paint, and I don't know any of these people in this comment section from any other subsequent cans of paint. And now to the meat and potatoes of the whole matter and why you're here for this video, at least I would assume why you're here. My thoughts on this topic. After sitting back and engaging with these posts and reflecting on how they made me feel, how I was reflective about how I felt from engaging with these people online, I definitely was able to acknowledge that I felt something internally in my very real 3D physical body from engaging with the content of these people and from engaging with their words. It had a real impact on me, and it really drove me to stop and think about the fact that there are just too many people walking around, scrolling around online that are hiding behind the facade of having an opinion as an excuse to be cruel to people baselessly and senselessly. Like, it's giving real throwing rocks and hiding your hand kind of energy to me. If the constructive criticism and the opinion that you're giving someone is not something that you would say to their face, not something you would walk in a literal place of business and say, not something you would actually say to a stranger you see walking past you on the street, 9 times out of 10, it's internal dialogue that should probably remain internal. And if you can't keep it internal, leave it in a group chat. Journal about it. Tell your therapist. Something. But 9 times out of 10, this opinion that you're giving and standing on, and like, I mean, just really fighting tooth and nail on some free speech type shit, is honestly not valuable. Like, it's so not valuable. Your thoughts and opinions and feelings, they're valid. Oh, they're real, bookie boo. I'm not gonna tell you that they're not. I'm not gonna tell you that you can't feel them or not to feel them. But I'm telling you, to that person that you're kind of foaming at the mouth to spit vitriol at, they're not valuable. Telling someone that you don't know that you think they're ugly, that you don't like what they're wearing, that you don't like what they charge, that you can do it better, that you know somebody to charge way less than them, whatever kind of critique it is of that nature is not constructive criticism. And saying in response to that, upon being called out to that kind of behavior, that, oh, I got an opinion, everybody got an opinion, everybody got a right to see that, is an scapegoat and literally a cop-out for a literal lack of intelligence. Being behind a screen, on your phone, on the internet, is simply giving you the courage to be the asshole that you either A, truly are, or B, desire to be, but do not have the courage, the balls, or the mental instability to be in literal real life. And no, that is not a jab at the stigmatization of mental illnesses. Just want to clarify that. What I literally mean is you literally have to be some kind of a fool to do some shit like that in public to somebody you don't know every time. Meanwhile, you online making a career out of it with no pay. And quite frankly, I think it's just time to call a spade a spade. Just say you're mean-spirited, babe. Just say you're miserable, and it literally means nothing to you to tear someone else down with your words. Please, I beseech you, do not deceive yourself into thinking that you are entitled to someone receiving those kinds of statements from you online or offline and not literally have the kind of reaction any normal being would have. Insulted, triggered, caught the fuck off guard, And to you people in the back that love to shame people for speaking up for themselves and calling people out and addressing things, get in here, because I need to talk to you too. Because you think you're doing the Lord's work when you really Satan's handyman. Stop it. People have the right to defend themselves. Just because you the queen of, I ain't gotta explain nothing to nobody, can't nobody penetrate me, ain't nobody gonna take me off. You wanna be Michelle Obama and go high when they go low? Do you, boogie boo boo. But the rest of us, let us take it to hell if we do so, please. Please. Because the problem with that mentality of not addressing people and not calling people out when it's well deserved is it allows a particular standard to be set for you. No, you don't have to go back and forth with every single internet troll and every nasty and hurtful comment, but you are more than well within your right as a human being to say, that hurt me. I didn't like that. Maybe you should reconsider that. And please, to the victim, to the viewer, to the receiver of this energy, please don't let social media and other people gaslight you into feeling as though you're in the wrong for wanting to vindicate yourself and speak up and say, I didn't like that and that hurt. And that saying that is letting them win. I didn't know we were in a competition. Now that I've said all of that, I don't know where you fall on the spectrum. Person perpetuating hateful speech and rhetoric online to person receiving perpetually hateful speech and rhetoric online. But wherever you fall on that spectrum, I'm sure many of us have had a time where we said something nasty and mean-spirited, whether to someone online or in person, and sent astray in somebody's way that we know didn't deserve it. And I think people that are doing the work and reflecting and actually still have some empathy left in them are able to acknowledge that that wasn't cool. I don't think I want to do that anymore. And if you're one of those people, I'm proud of you. Keep up the good work. But if you're still one of the bookie boos that are still, maybe you are one of the dark entities on Twitter that lives for this shit. Maybe that is you. There's hope for you, I think. But it's time to reflect. It's time to take a step back and begin to ask yourself if you are that nasty and mean-spirited person that literally feels like you have to fight tooth and nail and die on the heel of, that's my opinion. Freedom of speech does not equal freedom of consequences. And that's my real main takeaway here. I have empathy for the people that experience online bullying and experience hateful statements, and sometimes depending on where they are and what kind of day they're having, that one comment was enough to take them to a place. That one statement, that one snarky remark was enough to bring them down a little lower. Please understand that your words have power. Be willing to understand that what you say in this physical representation of who we are in real life on these screens has just as much power, if not more. But with that power comes responsibility, even if you decide to opt out of it. The kind of energy that you put out into the world and towards people counts just as much online as it does off. It's significant and it means something. And with that being said, I would like to end with saying that as a viewer of this video, my intentions for this channel and anybody that comes here and engages with me and with the content that I create and send out to them, I hope you get one of three things from me, if not all three simultaneously. And that is informed, inspired, or entertained. But just know your words and the energy behind them have power, no matter if you speak them or they're typed. And those are my thoughts